بسم الله وسبحان الله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد كل حرف كتب ويكتب أبد الآبدين ودهر الداهرين وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون صدق الله العظيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I hope everyone is well. So last week we started hadaf and then we came across these four types. With hadaf, as you remember, I mentioned is just omitting a letter because that's what basically hadaf means. But here are four types. So avoiding successive identical letters was one. Accommodating a riwayah. So again, when we're talking about the science of qira'ah, accommodations are made. That's if it's allowable by the rasam. Then we have wasl. So wasl means to continue, as many of you know. And then fourth is a slightly different one, but obviously depending on what the need or the situation is, based on that, it's been mentioned. Okay. Right. So here last week I explained about this. I won't explain that here. Okay. That's been mentioned in last week's recording. So please, for these words, just have a look over there. But it was something about three alifs and comparing it between the Madani and the South Asian print. Okay. But here, which something we're going to come across shortly, is called tamathul fir rasam. Tamathul fir rasam, meaning having identical letters together. But here we're talking about successive. So similar concept, but slightly different. Okay. So that's pretty much been explained. Please refer to last week's recording for explanation on this. I'm going to move on to page 52. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Every word that is supposed to have two alifs at the beginning is written with one alif. This happens when there is hamzatul qat. I mentioned before, hamzatul qat is a hamza which is actually part of the word itself. At the beginning of a word, whether it is the interrogative hamza. So again, you call in Arabic you call it hamzatul istifham, hamza of question when you question someone. For example, anzartahum, which we're going to come across, or otherwise followed by another hamzatul qat, regardless of the haraka on it. Okay, so here what we're trying to cover is again the very first rule which we came across is to avoid successive identical letters. Okay, and as a result some are dropped. Okay, so we're coming across some examples of that here, inshallah. So أنذرتهم. So you can see there's a slight difference there. Madani and South Asian print here. Okay, so the word أنذرتهم comes without a hamza generally. Okay, through the script. The word أنذرتهم comes in the script without the hamza. Because if you remember, as we discussed previously, hamza did not have its own shape. Khalil ibn Ahmad al-Farahidi, he borrowed the head of the Ain to give Hamza an identity. Okay, so therefore, some mushafs mark the first Hamza with a different style of dabt. Okay, and you can see that slight difference here. Okay, you can see here. Andartahum. So this alif here is actually part of the actual word, whereas Hamza here at the beginning is interrogative hamza. Okay, so again, so anzartahum, it came through the script as anzartahum, but obviously you have the hamzatul qat here again, which is part of it. So therefore, this is how it's been maintained in the script. Okay. So one point they've mentioned here, again, going back to last week, is that the reason why we haven't got successive alifs is it was disliked. Okay, it created confusion. And the Arabs, they like what we call tasheel or easiness, not the tasheel rule that we have in qira'ah, but tasheel ease. So to facilitate ease, many rules would come into place. Okay, so that's been a general input of the Arabs. So if there's any kind of difficulty, rules were created to create ease in spoken Arabic. So that's something I just want to put on note over here. Okay, and obviously to avoid confusion, which is another reason given. And another thing which has been mentioned here with the South Asian prints, as we've come across here, that the Hamza was added after the Alif. Hamza was added after the Alif, implying that the second Alif, i.e., the Hamza, was dropped. So, like we mentioned last week, with quick reference to here, that in some places, technically, what would have happened in the place of the Hamza, there would have been an Alif, but the Alif was dropped because of successive Alifs, and a Hamza was maintained there. But over here, things are slightly different. As we mentioned last week, Alif was placed. The Alif in the Madani Musaf was maintained there, whereas the Alif in the South Asian print was not maintained. So you'll see differences in Rasam and how the differences are applied. Okay. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. I will clarify as we go along. I'm just trying to make sure I've got every detail, inshallah, without elongating it too much. Okay, so every word that is supposed to have two alifs at the beginning is written with one alif. So this is what we're trying to establish here, which is slightly different from above. Okay, apologies for the confusion there. This happens when there's a hamzatul qat. So hamzatul qat, the first one over here. Okay, as you can see, and as I said, hamzatul qat is that alif, which is actually part of the original word itself. Whereas hamzatul wasl is not part of it. That's dropped if another word's joined onto that word where the hamzatul wasl is. Whether it is interrogative Hamza, Hamza of questioning, or otherwise, followed by another Hamzatul Qat, regardless of the haraka after it. So where over here it technically has come in the script as one alif, but because there's a Hamza that's following it, so that's why it will be maintained, and that's how it's been maintained in the Mus'haf. So when Ustada Hafidhahullah was explaining this, she was saying that when this word was transmitted, it was only the second Hamza, which was actually the one that was there and not the first one in the Masahif. Okay, so the actual transmission is with the first, but today we see it maintained with this. So again, you're seeing Dabt. Okay, um, the discussion again, was it part of the Rasm or was it not? So that's the differentiation I'm trying to make here, that the first Hamza here was part of the word. That's how it was transmitted through the script, Rasman, but this Hamza was added. So as long as it can be facilitated based on the rules and regulations of Rasm, Arabic language and literature, and so on and so forth, that's fine. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that bit there. Same over here as well. Okay, same example. Okay, however, if the second Hamza is Hamzatul Wasl, now we're coming to that Hamza, which is not actually part of the actual word itself, a temporary Hamza. Okay, there's a slight difference in the conventions of Dabt. Again, keep that in mind. Adopted by the Madani and South Asian prints of the Quran. The Madani print will add a Hamza preceding the second Hamza, and the South Asian print will not add a separate Hamza as shown in the examples above. Okay, so here we see that example here. Okay, so you've got Hamza here. Here it's not been maintained there. Okay, so the second Hamza, which is this. Okay, Madani here, okay, and South Asian here. So that's how the examples have been set up by Ustada Hafidhullah in the book. Madani print, add a Hamza, okay, preceding the second Hamza, okay, as you can see here, okay, so you've got two Hamzas there. South Asian print will not add a separate Hamza as shown in the example, okay, so it's not separate at all, although it's there, but it's not two Hamza. This is being maintained as an Alif, okay. All right, right. Just checking if we haven't missed anything. Okay. And here as well. Okay, you've got these words. So here, as you can see, a slight difference between the Madani and the South Asian prints. Here, um, as I said, the Hamza would have been omitted and an alif written. So here you've got two alifs, okay? But with the South Asian print, you've got the alif khanjariya or the standing fatha, which is representing the alif before it. Hence, there's no hamza here. Whereas here, it's been maintained in the Madani Mus'haf. Okay, so again, a difference in dabt. Again, the above words, according to Rasam Imla'i, would be written as al-ana. So can you see the difference? Hamza here or alif has been written in a slightly different way. But again, as I said, there is a percentage of the rasam where um, Arabic, where the laws of Arabic language and literature will be different to rasam imla'i, but that's a very small percentage. Okay, we will come across that in due course. So here again, rasam imla'i, again referring to Arabic language and literature, is written slightly different. So you can see the slight difference. Here you read this al-ana and al-ana, okay? But here only the one reading al-ana, okay? So this clarifies both readings, but this doesn't clarify as such. So sometimes you do find that sometimes certain dabt, as we read above, have been facilitated for the ease of reading recitals, i.e. the 10 canonical recitations. Okay, right, going on here. Same here as well. So what I explained over here, the same is over here as well. Okay, so please do keep that in mind where Hamza is apparent in the Madani Mus'haf, but here in the South Asian, it's not. It's been indicated by the alif khanjariya. Words like ayah, Adam, amana, in the Uthmani Mus'haf, they are written with one alif without the Hamza on top. Okay, in the written without a hamza. So keep that in mind. The scholars of Dabt differ as to how to facilitate reading the hamza with the long vowel alif. So when we mean the long vowel, we're talking about the alif khanjariya or the standing fatha without adding an alif in the script. So over here, the Madani print has a hamza before the alif, as we see here. That's how it is in the Madani Mus'haf. But the South Asian, we don't have that. What do we have in the South Asian? We have the khanjariya or the standing fatha. Okay, so that is a slight difference. Rasam imla'i would be ayah, adama, amana, adama, ayah. Okay, so you can see the difference there, that it's come in a slightly different way. Okay, the word al-ana, wherever it comes in the Quran, with or without the interrogative hamza. So again, I'm not going to touch too much on everything, but again, what my point here is just to clarify the differences because it's a primer. I don't want to go into too much explanation because there's the angle of explanation from Arabic language and literature. There's the explanation from Rasam as well. There are rules and regulations from the Qira'at as well. So it will complicate it because the purpose here is just to show the difference. Because as I said, it's examples. Therefore, it's just to clarify where the dabt difference and how the dabt, if it differs, what is potentially the reason behind it. Okay. The word al-ana, wherever it comes in the Quran, with or without the interrogative hamza, meaning hamzatul istifham, hamza of questioning, is written without the hamzatul qat. So as I said, hamzatul qat is actually part of the word, and alif as follows. Okay. So you can see here, if you look over here, al-ana, you've got the interrogative hamza. But whereas if you come over here, you don't have it. Okay, so already there's a slight difference there. Ustada has quite kindly written what it would be in Rasam Imla'i. So here, al-ana, based on what we have read over here. Okay, this is how it would look like in Rasam Imla'i. In the very same way, over here, sometimes you'll find that the interrogative hamza won't be written. Okay, and as it says here, according to Rasam Imla'i, it should be written as al-ana or al-ana. Okay, so here what you'll find is that the lam has been made to disappear. Sorry, not made to disappear, but hadaf. It's been dropped. Okay. I was going to say try and play a bit of magic there, but no, there's no magic here. It has been dropped. So just to clarify that, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Okay. All right. So far, what have we come to? That Hamza, at times, an alif would be written instead of Hamza. Hamza didn't have its own shape, but Hamza has been facilitated because of Khalil ibn Ahmad al-Farahidi using the head of the Ain. At times, the Hamza would be written when it's a Hamza al-Qat, meaning Hamza of questioning. Some places is not written. Okay, and where you have a Hamzatul Istifham, where you have a Hamzatul Wasl, okay, the Hamzatul Wasl would be dropped, okay, in the South Asian print. Sorry, the Hamzatul Wasl is written, whereas in the South Asian print, there's a slight difference in the written form. Sorry, just to correct that. So in the Madani Mus'haf, the Hamzatul Wasl is written, but in the South Asian print, there's a difference in the written form, okay? But at the end of the day, the main point here is that it's down to oral transmission. That is what will govern, and that is what will decide ultimately how we go ahead with this, inshallah. Okay. So again, you got this guidance over here. Do take time out to note the difference between Rasam Imla'i and what's been mentioned in the Mus'haf. Okay. The above words, according to Rasam Imla'i, would be written as Al-Ana with Hamzatul Qat. So here again, you can see Hamzatul Qat again. Okay. Whereas previously here, it wasn't written with Hamzatul Qat. Okay. However, regarding the following, regarding the word al-ana in Suratul Jinn, some Uthmani Mus'hafs have it written according to Rasam Imla'i, and some have it written as Al-Ana. Both Madani and South Asian prints have it written as Al-Ana according to Rasam Imla'i. So now we're finding a situation where Rasam Imla'i, meaning Arabic language and literature, has an agreement with the Rasam Uthmani. Okay, here. So have a look here. So this is what we're looking at. This is what we come across here. So this is actually according to Rasam Imla'i. So Rasam Uthmani, meaning the actual Rasam itself that we received from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is Tawqifi, has an agreement with Rasam Imla'i, Arabic language, and literature. Okay, but as it mentions here, that regarding this word in Suratul Jinn, which is in the 29th juz, some Uthmani Masahif have written it according to Rasam Imla'i, and some have written it in this way. Okay, so again, you can see that there's difference in wordings. Okay, what we might see in Arabic language and literature is written in agreement at some places, in some places is not. In some places, the Hamza has been maintained, sometimes the Hamza has been dropped, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then you've got the issues of the interrogative Hamza and then Hamzatul Wasl. So again, I'm not going to confuse you, but I've just explained each one of those points, but you can see that sometimes it's been dropped, it's been maintained, there's a common agreement, and that's really what Rasam is. But what is our responsibility and ground rule? That if all of this agrees with Rasam Uthmani, alhamdulillah. If it does not, then we disregard it. That is the end conclusion. Okay, so don't be too confused. I'm just touching upon a few things here without going ahead. So we've touched upon the hadaf of alif. Okay, now we're going to touch upon, we're just going back a bit, hadaf of alif to avoid identical letters. Now we're going to go on to hadaf of waw. If I could have first reader, please, Brother Zishan. Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Example of hadaf of waw. Scholars are unanimous on the hadaf of one waw when two waw come together in one word. This can take two forms. Number one, both are vowels in letter form as in Al-Ghaun, Daud, Yastun. According to Rasm Imlai, they would be written as Al-Ghawoon, Dawood, Yastoon. Number two, the first vowel is actually a Hamza in vowel form, and the second is the letter vowel, as in Al-Mu'idda, Tanwihi, Yadra'un. According to Rasm Imlai, they would be written as following. Examples of hadaf of ya.
Okay, brother. Jazakallah khair. If you could just hold on just 1 minute. Jazakallah khair. So examples of hadaf of waw. So we've done hadaf of alif, now hadaf of waw. So hadaf, as we understood, is the removal of something or the dropping of something in simple words. Okay, that's what hadaf means. The absence or it's been removed. So here, hadaf of waw when two waws come together. Okay, so al-ghawuna. Okay, so what you would find is that especially in the South Asian print, you would have what we call a small six, or what we would call otherwise a upside down dhamma or reverse dhamma, as some people call it in the South Asian, okay? Whereas in Madani Mus'haf is slightly different, okay? So when two waws are together, one waw is written. Of course, there's two waws in Rasam Imla'i, but not quite in the Rasam Uthmani. Here again, what they're trying to explain is that from the two waws, actually the first one is a Hamza, but it's been changed into a waw, and then one waw has been continued. Okay, so the first one is actually a Hamza in waw form, and the second is the letter waw. Okay, so based on the grammatical rules, as you can see here, just to make it easier to understand, okay, that's how it was initially. It was a Hamza, but it was changed due to certain rules. Therefore, one waw has been maintained. Okay, so that's just to make it absolutely clear. Again, I'm not going to go too deep because the rules of Arabic language and literature in terms of the changing, dropping, editing, it is quite deep, especially some of those of us who have not studied morphology or etymology, nahwa and sarf. Okay, so therefore I'm not going to go too deep. Brother Zishan, if you would carry on, please. Examples of hadith over here.
Examples of hadaf of ya. Scholars are unanimous on the hadaf of one ya when two yas come together in one word, as in yuhyi, yastahyi, al-ami, amiyan, amiyin, rab, rabbanin, and nabiyyin, waliyallah. According to Rasm Imlai, they would be written as in the Madani print, a small ya with its bottom cut off is placed to inform the reader that a ya must be recited here, even though it is not written in the Musaf, as in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إن الذين يكفرون بآيات الله ويقتلون النبيين بغير حق ويقتلون الذين يأمرون بالقسط من الناس فبشرهم بعذاب أليم.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Brother Zishan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Okay, so example of hadaf of ya so far. So when we've got two yas together, okay, one will be dropped. Okay, one of these, the second ya in this is a ya of mad. Okay, for those of us who are studying the qira'at, just to clarify, won't say any more than that, inshallah. One thing that I did forget to mention over here, what you'll notice here is there is no tooth. There's no tooth for the Hamza. So whereas whereas some places you'll have an alif as a tooth of Hamza, or sometimes you'll have what we call a bump or a tooth. The Hamza is facilitated in that way. But over here, as you can see, that there is no facilitation of Hamza here as such, because there isn't a bump or anything else otherwise, to clarify that. So sometimes what will happen is that when the word al-ana is in joint form, there is no shape for the word Hamza. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. All right, that's just there. Examples of hadaf of ya. So as it says here, hadaf of one ya when two yas are together here. I mentioned that the second ya is ya of mad. Okay, just to clarify for those of us who are studying the qira'at. Um, so you can see the slight difference here. Two yas here. There isn't a ya here. Okay, so difference there again between rasm Uthmani and rasm Imla'i. Okay, so we're coming across these terminologies. Here again, in the Madani Mus'haf, a small ya with its bottom cut off is written. So you'll see this, okay, in the Madani print. Some of you must have seen it. To inform the reader that a ya must be recited here, even though it is not written in the Mus'haf as such. So, for example, over here in this ayah, here, for example, okay. So annabiyina. So biyina. So this ya here is ya of mud. Okay, yina. Okay, there would have been what we call a standing kasra, but over here there isn't. وَيَقْتُلُونَ النَّبِيِّينَ. Yina. Okay, but here is not. And this shape here, you'll find it as well sometimes in the sometimes you might find it in the South Asian print. But over here in the Madani Mus'haf, here it's indicating ya that's not read. Okay, so please be clear about that. If the ya is a mushaddad, so again, which has got W on, okay, a shadda is also placed on the mini ya as in Inna waliyya Allahu alladhi nazzala al-kitab wa huwa yatawalla as-salihin. Okay, okay. Right. Here we've got a ya with a tashdid. Some people call it W, some people call it shadda, tashdid. One of my teachers used to call it WD-40. Here in the UK, WD-40 is something that you spray, especially which is used for carpets. You spray and it sticks down. So one of my teachers used to teach Nahw and Sarf, nouns and verbs. He would say, right, W is a WD-40, so it sticks, meaning you press, you apply the pressure, okay? So that's where we're going with the W's, okay? So here, if the dropped ya is a mushaddad, a shadda is also placed on the mini ya as in waliyya, waliyya. So you can see, just like I mentioned about the Hamza, that there wasn't any shape to facilitate, but it was just written there. Over here as well, there isn't any facilitation for the shape of the ya that's written there, but it's been written to indicate the ya that's been dropped, okay? In the South Asian print, the printed ya will have a standing kasra underneath it to denote that it needs to be stretched. Another haraka as in here, yuhyi, waliyi, waliyi, okay? But here again, standing kasra here on the second. So when I said that the second ya is a mud, in the South Asian Mus'haf, that becomes apparent. So you can see this here in the second ya, here, and here as well. Whereas in the Madani Mus'haf, things are slightly different. In the Waliyya. Okay. Right, examples of hadaf lam. So far we've done hadaf of alif, waw, and ya. Can I quickly have a quick confirmation? Has everyone understood that? Is there anything that's not been clear? I'm going a little bit quicker, so I just want to be absolutely clear that you, or all the brothers and sisters, are with me. It's not that my flight has taken off and I'm still waiting for passengers. So is everyone absolutely clear? Quick yeses, come on, quick fire yes. Quick fire yes. I need almost 15 yeses all in one go. Quick yeses. Still taking a bit of time. Any more yeses? Yes. Any clarifications? Any questions at all so far? Right. Okay, that's fine. No problem. As I said, it's a primer. The point here is just to clarify the differences and why some of those differences are based on certain reasonings. As I said, or what we read in the beginning, some might be facilitation of qira'at, some might be facilitation of grammatical rules, some might be otherwise, okay? Because as I said, according to Arabic language and literature, the Arabs didn't like thiql. They didn't like difficulty in speaking and writing. So therefore, there were many rules that came about as a result of that to create ease in spoken Arabic and in written Arabic. So, for those of you who have studied Arabic language and literature, this is something that you would have, inshallah, come across. Okay, right, page 56. And the other thing which I mentioned here, do you remember in the beginning I mentioned tamathul fil rasm? So having the same letter written in the same place. So we've come across where in the mushafs or some of the mushafs like the Madani mushafs, you won't have the yas written again. But some places you may have it written to signify otherwise, but sometimes it's been dropped because of tamathul fil rasm, not to have the same letter written because it can create confusion. At some places it's been disliked, so on and so forth. Okay. Right. Example of hadaf of lam. Scholars are unanimous on the hadaf of one lam in the word wallahi of Surah Al-Talaq, which is in Juz 28. According to Rasam Imla'i, again, Arabic language and literature, it would be written as al-la'i. So al, the hamza here, or the alif would have a fatha going onto the lam, which would have a sukoon, then al, then la. Okay, so you can see the slight difference where in Rasam Imla'i, there's no W. Okay, well, in Rasam Uthmani, there is. Similarly, when the al preceded the word layl, one lam would be dropped as in al. So can you see? Imagine al joining layl. Would that not bring one lam, two lams together? Yes, it would, because you've got the first lam of the layl here, and then you've got the lam of this. Okay, but here uh, there isn't two lams rasma, but the W's being placed, i.e. the dobt, to indicate that there's two lams. Because generally, wherever you get the W or WD-40, as I said previously, one of my shuyukh said, it indicates two letters. In order to inform the reader that two lams need to be recited, two lams, okay, just clarifying, a shadda is placed on top of the lam. So when you see a WD-40, tashdid, shadda, whatever you want to call it, the general understanding should be that there are two letters, but in some places it has been maintained, in some places it's been amalgamated, so it looks as one to avoid tamathul fil rasm, meaning two of the same letters appearing together. Why? Because it could be disliked or it could create confusion otherwise. Okay, so you can see if you had like one or two lambs or three lambs, imagine how difficult it must be for the average person who's not educated to that level. It would be very difficult. So again, to decrease difficulty in some instances. According to Rasam Imla'i, it will be written as al-layl. As for the hadaf of lam in التي اللذان الذي اللذان اللذين الذين التي, both Rasm Uthmani and Rasm Imla'i agree upon its hadaf. So again, another point, these are known as the Asma'ul Mawsul. So these are words in the Arabic language that are a bit like what I like to call myself as sometimes as a sandwich filler. Okay, so the Asma'ul Mawsul, or you get other words like Asma'ul Ishara, words in Arabic that are used for indication. These are words that come in the beginning of in the middle of sentences to join sentences together. So I done something, da da da, because da da da. Okay, so Asma al Mawsul. Mawsul from wasl. Wasl means to join. So Asma Mawsul means those nouns that come to join the words together. Okay. So sometimes what you might find is that what certain words are known as, the definitive explanation is in the actual wording. So Mawsul is from wasl. Wasl means to join. Mawsul means joined. So that's therefore Asma'ul Mawsul means those words that are joining. Joining what? Words in a sentence. Okay. So here Rasm Uthmani and Rasm Imla'i are in agreement. Okay. Right. Similarly, both rasams agree on writing both lams in other words beginning with lam, such as Allahu, Allahu, Allu. So here you got two lams written. Previously we read that the lam was amalgamated. Now the lam's been given a bit of breathing space. So now you got two lams. So again, you can see that the rasam's changing. So again, what Ustad Hafidahullah and Mufti Umar rahimahullah ta'ala are trying to clarify that sometimes it's not one rule for all. Um, Sometimes you will find that that's been flipped, meaning it's been in accordance to rasam imla'i. Okay, if you could kindly have our next video, please. Examples of hadaf of noon. Barakallahu feek.
So I think the next reader has left. So should I continue? The examples of hadaf of noon. Scholars are unanimous on the hadaf of one noon in the following place. Scholars have placed a shadda on the noon to indicate the dropped noon. However, it is not to be recited like a normal mushaddad letter. While reciting the noon with the shadda, ishmam needs to be made. That is, one needs to gesture towards the dhamma with his lips to indicate the dropped noon has a dhamma. Another method of reciting it is with ikhtilas of the dhamma, that is recite two-thirds of the dhamma only.
Okay, Jazakallah, brother. If you just hold on there. So we are going to leave this bit out because this is related to students of Qira'ah. So those of you who are studying the Qira'ah, you will understand this very well. Ishmam and ikhtilas. Okay, so I won't mention that here. But the point here is to mention about the differences in the dabt of the rasam. So shadda has been placed on the noon to indicate the dropped noon. That's what we're talking about. So shadda has been placed on the noon. So here you can see la ta'manna. So as I said before, whenever tashdid comes, WD-40, there will be two noons. But a shadda has been placed to indicate that one noon has been dropped. Okay, now how would that be read? These are two rules, ishmam and ikhtilas. Two rules which are used to recite it. Now, these are advanced rules because they're related to the 10 canonical recitations. Here is not the point for discussion, so we're going to move on. Okay, Bismillah, brother Zishan, if you carry on.
Similarly, scholars are unanimous on the hadaf of noon in the following verse. Scholars have placed a mini noon to indicate that an extra noon needs to be pronounced. Since there is also ikhfa taking place, the Madani print does not place a sukoon on the noon, whereas the sukoon is placed on the noon in the South Asian print.
Okay, Jazakallah, brother. So again, very quickly, here you can see that in the Madani Mus'haf, there's no sukoon on the noon. If you do you remember we're in session 6, just going back to it, we were discussing the intense differences between the Madani Mus'haf and the South Asian Dabt. Okay. So we did discuss some of those things, and one of those things which is mentioned there, if you go back to the differing diacritics, in there is mentioned that some places, well, actually, in the Madani Dabt, you would not have sukoon, whereas in the South Asian you would. Why here? Because obviously the Madani Mus'haf is for the average Arab person, so would it's understood they would know there's an ikhfa here. Ikhfa again is a rule of tajweed. Here's not the place to discuss it. Whereas here, because South Asian context it's non-Arabs, therefore the sukoon has been put there to remind the readers and those of you who have studied tajweed that the ikhfa takes place here. Therefore, it's ease of recitation. So you can see again how on another point where the Madani and the South Asian Mus'haf has differed. Hadaf to accommodate the recital of different riwayat. Okay, I'm just going to go through this very quickly. Okay, just making sure we haven't missed anything. Okay, so the Masahif are unanimous on writing the Hamzatul Wasl. Okay, again, extra Hamzas, temporary Hamza in the word Al-Aika in the following two places in the Quran. Okay, so hadaf to accommodate recital. So we the first point we read was successive. Then we came across. Then the second one at the beginning of the chapter of hadaf was to accommodate recital. Okay, so we're not going to go into what the reason for the recital are. Here is just to clarify that sometimes Hamzatul Wasl has been added for the purposes of recitation. Okay, so as it says here, the Masahif are unanimous on writing the Hamzatul Wasl in the word Al-Aika. So here you can see here. Okay, the uh yeah. So again, uh yeah. So here you can see the Hamza has been written, whereas here it's not been. Okay, so that's a slight difference here. So Hamza, to the sorry, I'm going round and round here. So the hadaf to accommodate the recital of different riwayat. So you can see here Hamza has been maintained, whereas here the Hamza has been omitted. Okay. So as for the same word in the following two places, it has been written without the Hamzatul Wasl due to the fact that it was revealed with two qira'at. So again, I'm not going to go into that explanation, but those of you who are studying the qira'at, who done sab'a qira'a wa ashara, or infiradan, you would know the differences in relation to that. Okay, so Hamzatul Wasl normally is at the beginning here. That's Hamzatul Wasl. Okay, this is Hamzatul Wasl there. Okay, temporary Hamzas. But if any word was to join on that, this Hamzatul Wasl here would disappear. Likewise over here. Okay, but here it's been omitted to accommodate the recital. Okay. And what they mean by omitted is over here. So if you read this word ashabul aika, the ba will join onto the lam. This would not be read, but it's written. Okay, so sometimes in the Quran you'll find letters that are written but not read, and that's more commonly with the letters alif, waw, ya, and lam. Okay, again, same here. Wa ashabul Aika. Okay, so here again, this alif here, although it hasn't got this small sad, this is something we discussed in differing diacritics, that in the Madani Mus'haf, they have the head of the sad to indicate the Hamzatul Wasl, whereas in the South Asian prints, they don't have that, so therefore it's not been done over here. But we did come across one dabt or one script of the Quran in the differing diacritics. Again, please refer back to session 6, where there was the head of the Sad on one of the Hamzatul Wasls. So again, please refer back to that recording. The explanation is over there. Okay. So wa Ashabul Aika, the Hamzatul Wasl is written but not read. Okay. So that's basically what it means. All right. Okay. Subhanallah. Here is not written. So there's no Hamzatul Wasl here. Subhanallah. So كذب أصحاب الأيكة. So again, there's no Hamzatul Wasl here at all. It's completely disappeared. Whereas over there, it was maintained. When we mean maintained, meaning it was written but not read. So you can see how the Mus'haf differs again. So one place you'll see it, one place you won't. And in the word al-ana, we saw differing changes there as well. The Masahif are unanimous on the hadaf of the ya in the following words or the following verse. Okay, here. So the Madani Mus'haf and the South Asian. So can you see here? Look, this small ya, which we mentioned previously with the Madani Mus'haf, was written, okay, just to indicate that a ya there has been dropped. Whereas here in the South Asian, now you can see it written here as well. So you will see common patterns as well between the Madani and the South Asian Mus'haf. Hadaf of the ya. So atani it should be atani. So over here, Fama atani Allahu ni. This is actually a ya maddiya. So this ya, which has come here as an indication, it's indicating that there's a ya which has been omitted, but that ya is ya of a mud. Okay, rule of mad tabi'i or mad asli. Okay, you again. For those of you who have studied Tajweed, you will understand that, but I'm not going to go too deep. But this ya has been written here to indicate that a ya has been omitted, is been hadaf, or should I say hadaft? as one of my I think it was one of my teachers, or I can't remember. But here it's the ya of mad. Okay, this is to accommodate the differences in the qira'at according to the riwayah of Hafs. So as some of us know, those of us who are studying the qira'at, we would know, and those of us who are not studying the 10 canonical recitations, one point is established that the recitation or the riwayah of Hafs is the most widely read uh, riwayah in the world. So the way that majority of people read the Quran is in accordance to the riwayah of Hafs. For more information, for those of you who are not studying the Qira'ah, feel free to refer to myself or someone else in your own time, or have a quick look at some other sources on Google, inshallah. The Ya will be recited with a fatha during wasl and during waqf, both with ya and without ya are reported. So again, these are different points. Again, I'm not going to go through them, but we don't need to because it's related to the qira'at. So this information is all based on the qira'at. Okay. Okay, Allahu. The Masahif are unanimous on the writing of Alif Lam separated from Yasin in the following verse. So Al separated from Yasin. Right. So there's 2 points to mention here. So you've got two readings. You got Il Yasin and you got Ali Yasin. Okay, that's one there. So what's happening here in both the different readings is that here the lam should be joining to the ya, but obviously it hasn't. Why? Because that's how it was in the Mus'haf. That's how we received it from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So hence it's been maintained. The second one is Ali Yasin. So in Al there would be two alifs. Okay, but both alifs have not been maintained. Why successive alifs or identical letters? Because of tamathul fil rasm. Why? Again, what is tamathul fil rasm? They don't want two of the same letters together. So sometimes letters are amalgamated to make it look as one, where sometimes you got W, or sometimes you will have those letters come together, so you will have double. Okay, so that's two there. But again, all of it is related to the qira'at, the 10 canonical recitations. Allahu Akbar. Another question which a student asked Ustadha Hafidahullah, that the word Il Yasin, okay, why is it not part of the chapter of Maqtu' and Mawsul? So Maqtu' and Mawsul is a chapter we're going to come across inshallah in the next session. Maqtu' means words which are separated. Mawsul, as I mentioned earlier, words which are joined. So why is it that Il Yasin is not in that chapter and it's been discussed here? So what is the reason? So the answer for that is that it can't be because the words in the chapter of maqtu' and mawsul, sometimes they're written together, but sometimes they're written separate, right? So maqtu' means separate, mawsul means joined. So sometimes you would find in that chapter that because it's about joint letters and words that are not joint, therefore there's a difference in application. Whereas here, there isn't a difference. This is how it's come rasman. Therefore, it can't be included in that chapter. Okay. So hence it's come under hadaf. All right. Hopefully that answers that question. Okay. Right, we move on. The same is the case for all those words that have been revealed with two variances. Okay. One with alif and other without. So here, for example, again, a very basic one which we came across in the earlier part of the course. Okay, where sometimes you will have the alif and sometimes two alifs, sometimes sorry, the alif, but sometimes you won't have the alif because it's indicated by alif khanjariya standing fatha. So wa'adana, but here according to the South Asian print, you have this standing fatha or alif khanjariya, maliki and maliki. Okay, so again, another reading of maliki is maliki. Okay, as those of you who are studying the Qiraat, you would know that. So instead of a complete alif, a mini alif or alif khanjariya. Okay, so the Arabs use the word khanjariya. Okay, in the South Asian context is standing fatha or it's there are other words. Okay. But what is it? What is this place for? To indicate the recitation of alif. Okay. Hadaf due to the fact that normally wasl is intended and done on that word. Okay. So hadaf due to the fact. So this was another one of those 4 points. A letter is dropped for the purposes of wasl. What is wasl? Meaning continuation in recitation. Okay. In this case, the scholars of Dabt will not place any diacritical mark or letter, diacritical mark, meaning Dabt or letter to indicate the omitted letter. The alif has been omitted from the word ayyuha in the following three places. Okay, so here, this should be ayyuha. Okay, so ayyuha in the Arabic language is a word which is used to call someone. So in the Arabic language, you've got certain words which are known as monada. Okay, monada meaning when you address someone, we say, oi, hey, aha, aha. You use various words to call someone. So in Arabic, ayyuha or ya ayyuha, you've got different words. Okay, but obviously this is in a more respectful form. But here the alif has been omitted. Okay, likewise here, likewise here. Examples of omitting wow. The wow has been omitted from the following four verbs in the nominative case, meaning rafa. Again, this is going to Arabic language, but I'm not going to go through it. So we're talking about the wow being omitted, the wow being uh, dropped. So here it should have been yad'u. The wow should have been here, but wow has not been maintained. It's been dropped. Okay, as you can see here, وَيَدْعُ insan. If you stopped on it, it would be وَيَدْع. Okay, you wouldn't read the wow. Okay, likewise over here. Where is it? وَيَمْحُ اللَّهُ and here يدعو الداع and سندعو الزبانية. So again, each rule that's coming, you can see Ustada how beautifully she has set the examples out, and it's really easy to understand. Similarly, the waw has been omitted from the following word in the following ayah. Wa salihu. Okay, it should have been salihu according to Rasam Imla'i. Now, again, here's another place where there's a difference between Rasam Uthmani and Rasam Imla'i. So again, some places there is ittifaq, there is unity. Some places there's divorce. Some of my teachers would use that words. I mean, practically some of the words you could say divorce, but here, of course, we won't use that. We'll say it's been separated. There's ikhtilaf. So Rasam Imla'i like this, but Rasam Uthmani, it's like this. Now, a question arises, a very quick question to you. For those of you who have studied Arabic language and literature, I want a very quick answer if you are able to. Why is it that this word has been written separate from these words? Can anyone tell me? Quick question. Why is it that these list of words has been written from this when really it's the same topic? Wow being omitted. Wow has been omitted from here. Wow has been omitted from there. But why has this been separated from this? Can anyone give me the answer? Why? So those of you who have studied Arabic language and literature, uh, a quick answer. I'm going to give about 30 seconds, inshallah. I think that's a bit generous. Let's make it 20. So now we're in Formula One, Gear 6. So what are the top words? What are the bottom words? Those of you who are studying ilmiya or those of you who are studying Arabic language and literature, what would be the answer to this question? Good answer, Brother Farouk. Good answer. Any other answers? We've got 10 seconds left. Put your hands on the buzzers. Why has both sets of words been separated? Any other answers? So, Brother Farouk, you good. So I like your answer, Brother Farouk. That is correct. That يدعو دعا يدعو دعا يدعو. Okay, so yes, according to changes in Arabic language and literature, yes, there would have been a wow here. But that's not quite the answer here. And yes, same again here. Salihu. Yes, it's waw of jam. But the actual reason is that the top are af'al and the bottom is noun. Uh, ism. Okay. So the reason why they've been separated again, subhanAllah. So these are small points. The top are verbs. The bottom one is a noun. Therefore, it's been separated. Okay. So just to clarify that. So that was a quick question. Okay, examples of omitting ya. So ya should be so you there should be a ya here. Wakhshawni nunji bil wadi. But ya has been omitted, as you can see in the Quran ayah. Hadaf due to a reason other than above. So now the 4 points that we came across above in the topic of hadaf. Okay, the very last one was hadaf due to a reason other than above. What was the three reasons? I'm just going to fast forward again in gear 6. Uh, okay, here. Okay, just for our benefit. So we've gone through hadaf due to successive identical letters. Okay, we've also gone through those which accommodate different riwayat that to accommodate the 10 canonical recitations. We've also gone through those upon which wasl intended, meaning continuation in recitation. Okay, and then now we come to a reason other than the above. Okay, so just to put things in context, I like to sort of do that. So um, because sometimes when we're going very quick, sometimes we can quite easily lose our focus, our concentration, and we try and think while one thing is being. So what you find is, and I've found this so many times, that when you attend the durus of some shuyukh, half of your brain is trying to work out, okay, where's the connection? How is it connecting to that? Da, 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 da. Whereas one half of the brain is trying to process the information at the current moment in time. So I'm sure the brothers and sisters can vouch for me in that regards. Okay. Um, right. Examples of omitting ya. So now hadaf due to the reason other than above. Omission of the alif of wa'ul jam. Okay, so again, this is going in a bit of grammar. Wa'ul jam is the plural tense in the Arabic language. So the alif of the wa'ul jam, also known as alif al-fasil or alif of separation, is the alif that is written after the waw that represents the past tense verb in the third person. So don't worry too much about this information here. All you need to remember is that you'll find words such like sajadu, qalu, yasjudu, da 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 on this pattern, okay, which signifies a plural, okay, and after the waw generally you will have an alif, okay, but sometimes these alifs are dropped, okay, such as this occurs in the words ja'u and ba'u, okay, the alifs are not there. They are what you call the plural tense, okay, in as it said here in the past present verb, but they've been dropped, okay. This occurs in the following four verbs as well: fa'u, wa'atau, sa'au, tabawwa'u. Okay. Similarly, the alif that is normally written. Similarly, the alif that is normally written after a waw asli root letter. So, Brother Farooq, we're going to it. The alif that is normally written after a waw of jamr has been omitted from the following word in the following ayah. So ya'fuwa, it would have been ya'fu. Okay. Right. Hadaf of the alif in jam' mudhakkar. So again, don't worry about the terminology there. It's Arabic language and literature. We're just talking about common patterns here. So, al-alamin, al-zalimin, khasi'in. There's no alif there. Okay, rasam imla'i, you would have seen an alif there, but there isn't. So they're using what we call a standing fatha or khanjariya here on the ain, here on the dha, here on the hamza. Okay. Right, very quickly. I'm just looking at any notes. Okay, so there is another rule. The alif will not be dropped if it is followed by a W or Hamza, such as ad-dallin and sa'imin. So in this rule itself, one rule of Arabic language and literature that we come across is that if alif is followed by a W, meaning shadda, or a hamza, it will not be dropped, such as sa'imin and then ad-dallin. Okay, so if alif is followed by those two, the alif will be maintained and not dropped. Okay, hadaf of alifs in jam' muannath thalim. So again, this was plurals used in the male tense. Now we're talking about plurals, which is used in the female context. Okay, muslimatun, mu'minatun, qanitatun, ta'ibatun, abidatun. Can someone tell me an ayah which has got all of these? Quick question. Knowledge of the Quran. Now I'm going to see how many of you are reading the Quran. Oh, subhanAllah. Okay, will I go into detail when? Yeah, absolutely. Aqilatul Turab is the sea of Rasam, man. Aqilatul Turab. That's what we're doing. The swimming. We're going to be doing the 5 meters first, then the 10, then the 15, then the 20. We're going to be swimming, man. That's where we'll be swimming in Rasam. Uh, inshallah, no problem. Barakallah fi. Yes, right. So quick question. Can anyone give me an ayah where the plural tense of the males or the masculine tense and the feminine tense is mentioned? So um I'm going to give a slight clue, but عالمين الظالمين الخاسئين مسلمات مؤمنات قانتات تائبات. Is there an ayah in the Quran that's got an example of both? So those of you who have studied Arabic language and literature, you might have a head start on this, but even those of you who read the Quran, is there an ayah? Quick question. Surah Tahrim, Surah Ahzab. Good, good, good. Yes, the one in Surah Tahrim, I believe so. It has, yes. Let me just quickly look up. Subhanallah. Yes, so Surah Ahzab is the one I was looking at. If you just give me a second, I'm just going to look at. Okay. Yep. Okay, right. I'm just having a quick look at Tahrim, so I wasn't quite sure of that. Mm, but I can't actually see the ayah, but I know which one you're referring to, Qari Sab. Um, yeah, but yeah, here. Yeah, so I can't find it in Tahrim. But yes, Suratul Ahzab. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Only feminine form. So Surah Al-Ahzab is the one. Yeah. So إن المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات and so on and so forth. One challenge I laid for some of my students and junior students, I said to them that anyone who can read this ayah in one breath, I would give them a prize. Anyone who would read this ayah in one breath, I would give them a prize. So I make the same challenge to the brothers and sisters here. Anyone who can read this ayah in one breath, inshallah, I will give a prize. Of course, it would be a physical prize, but it would be an ilmi prize. So I give the same challenge to all of you. Anyone. So this is my challenge that who can read that ayah of Surah Al-Ahzab. It's on the first side of Juz 22. إن المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات والصائمين والصائمات والخاشعين والخاشعات and so on and so forth. I've done it, and but you have to train yourself. But anyone who can do it, please do approach me in your own time, and inshallah, I will give an ilmi prize. Okay, that is my promise. Okay, anyone who can do that, inshallah, I will give an ilmi prize. But I'll wait for that. Okay, so that's the challenge of, I suppose, the course. Inshallah. Okay, right. Let's go ahead. Sorry, I'm just trying to go on different tangents because there's so much to cover. Okay, we're gonna inshallah finish at 1 o'clock, so I'm just quickly going through. So hadaf of the alifs in asma al adad. So those asma which is used for numbers. Okay, hadaf of the alif. So on the lam there should have been standing fatha. Likewise here. Uh, likewise on the meme, okay, but it's been dropped. According to Rasam Imla'i, these words are written with alif and sometimes without. So in Rasam Imla'i, you've got the consideration of both. Hadaf of the alif of how tanbih. So how tanbih, again, tanbih means to alert someone to something. That's what tanbih means. So hada, haula. So this is also known as asma'ul ishara. Okay, sometimes hada or haula, meaning those nouns which are used for indication. According to some imla, the above words are normally written without alif. Okay, so normally these would be written without alif. Hadaf of the alif in as asma'ul ishara, so a demonstrative nouns. So what I just mentioned, those nouns which are used to indicate towards something. ذلك كذلك أولئك ذلك. Hadaf of the alif in asma'ul mawsula. So I mentioned asma'ul mawsula earlier on. That wasl means to join, mawsul means those nouns which come to join the sentence together. Okay, right. 64. So what you'll notice in this, that just like the alif has been dropped, also the lam has been dropped as well. So do you remember I said any letters that have a shadda, it denotes two letters. So here obviously lam has been dropped as well. Okay, so not just the alif, is also the lam as well over here. Whereas in Rasam Imla'i, you can see the alif has been maintained and the extra lam has been maintained. Okay, a hadaf of the alif in lakinna and lakin, as you can see here. Okay, la, the standing fatha would be on top of the lam. Hadaf of the alif in ya used for nida. So nida means to call out. Ya ayyuha, ya nuh, ya sama, ya asafa. Okay, so there's a point to mention here, and again, I'm going to be very quick. Ya in these words. So ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, or ya ayyuhal kuffar, or ya Adam, or so on and so forth. Technically, ya is not part of those words. Technically, ya is not part of those words, but because according to Rasm Uthmani, it has been written together. Therefore, if you were to read these words, you can't say ya and then go back again, ya ayyuha, that would be wrong. Okay? So whenever you need to start or stop, you must always begin from those yas, okay, technically, because that's how it is in the rasm. According to the rules of qira'at, if you were to stop or start not from the ya, that would be incorrect. Although we know that ya technically is not part of those words because ya is a separate word. Hadaf of the medial alif in those non-Arab names that have greater than three alifs, okay, over here, for example. Uh, Okay, point eight. Right. Okay, okay, hadaf of the middle alif. So here, as you can see, Ibrahima is Ma'ila is Haqa Haruna Imrana. Okay, so again, with some of them standing fatha, with some of them alifs. So the alifs have not been maintained. They have been hadaft. Okay, so you can use that terminology from me so that you received a sanadan. You can say the word hadaft. Alhamdulillah, I have also received sanadan. But where it goes back before that, I don't know. Allah Ta'ala alam. Okay. Okay, but there are exceptions to this rule, such as Talut, Jalut, Marut, and Harut. Those words are an exception to this. Okay, note in the word Ibrahim, the alif is omitted throughout the Quran, and the ya is omitted in Surah Al-Baqarah only. This concurs with the qira'ah of Ibn Amir. So Ibn Amir, rahimahullah ta'ala, who's one of the imams of the 10 canonical recitations, he reads it as so on and so forth. Okay, so that's a point of qira'ah. I'm not going to go into that. Hadaf of the alif in the word kitab, where it occurs except in the following four places. Okay, so throughout the Quran, the alif is not mentioned, but in four places in the Quran it's mentioned. Okay, Surah Ra'ad, Surah Hijr, Surah Al-Kahf. Okay, 13th juz Al-Hijr, I believe is the 14th juz, I think, if I'm not wrong. Al-Kahf 15, Surah An-Naml is 14, I believe I'm not wrong. Going up and down here at the moment. Hadaf of the alif in the following word of the following ayah. Al-mi'ad. So you got a standing fatha here. So again, there is no tooth here to facilitate. Therefore, it's come as an indication. Just like the small yas came an indication to indicate that a letter has been dropped. Okay, hadaf of the alif in the following words in the following places. So again, alif is being dropped. So turaba. Okay, but here it's not been written, but it's been indicated by the alif khanjariya with the ha ha. Okay, it's been indicated. Right. In all other places, the alif has been written. So again, as I said, you'll see agreements, you'll see differences. And this is beautiful, really. When it comes to the context of the Sharia, why is it that when we see differences in the moon sighting, why do people make an issue of it? In the rasam of the Quran, you see um, agreement, you see ikhtilaf. So I mean, if there's differences in the moon sighting, why is it that it separates us? Subhanallah. If certain masjids are doing it one day, some masjids are doing it another day, alhamdulillah. You see the common principle flowing through. It's not just in the moon sighting, but it's also in Rasam. So why do Muslims not understand this? May Allah keep us united. Ameen ya Rab. Keep us united. Why is it that we just separate? I know here in the Western Hemisphere, or non-Islamic countries, it's a real problem for employers. They say, "Oh God, some of you Muslims are doing it on one day, but some Muslims are doing it on another day. What's going on?" But for us, Alhamdulillah. Why? Because more food on this day and more food on that day. So nurun ala nur yahdillahu li nurihi man yasha. More food, more food. More nur, more nur. Okay? So again, common principles I'm just indicating. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all united and not short-sighted. Ameen Ya Rab. 14. Hadaf of the ya after Hamza and hadaf of the alif after lam in the following word of this following surah. So hadaf of ya, okay, after Hamza. So this is a Hamza here. You got hadaf of ya here. So it should be E, but it's E, okay. And hadaf of the alif after lam. So there should be an alif la, but no indication of standing fatha. Hadaf of the waw of haul kinaya, even when sila needs to be made, of the dhamma. Sila of the dhamma is done when the letter before and after haul kinaya is mutaharrik. Okay, I'm not going to go into that explanation, but hadaf of the wow. Okay, so this would have been indahu, ba'dahu, tunabbi'unahu. Sorry, give me a bit of exaggeration. Yahfadunahu, but the wow has been omitted. In the Madani Mus'haf, you'll see this wow written, whereas in the South Asian prints, the wow will not be written as an to indicate, but instead you'll get that upside down reverse Dhamma. Okay. In the earlier days, they would write the wow in red or another color to distinguish it from the Quran. Then gradually they resorted to writing it in the same color but making it smaller as to keep it distinct from the Quran. Okay, so again, Rasman, as we studied in differing diacritics, that some of the diacritical marks, some were written in different colors. Eventually, some dots were written as the same color as the actual wording itself, but then some would obviously follow different colors. So we went through that in session 6. Okay, I'm just going to miss out this as well. We don't need to do that because that's regarding the qira'at. Okay. Allahu Akbar. Right. Hadaf of the ya in hawl kinaya. Okay. So again, I'm not going to go through that again because it's a bit of qira'ah and a bit of Arabic language and literature. Okay, but same thing again over here. So it was who, here it's he. Okay. Quick question to everyone. What's the smallest surah in the Quran? Yeah, no worries, Zubair. No problem. Which is the smallest surah in the Quran? Quick question. I know we're only short of time, inshallah. We're trying to get to page 70, inshallah. What is the smallest surah in the Quran? Right, Surah Kawthar. I want you to use your intellect. What is the smallest surah in the Quran? I'm going to challenge you because I've got a different answer. I've got a different answer. Anyone else? Come on, quick fire questions. What is the smallest surah in the Quran? Now we're thinking. Okay. Anyone else? What is the smallest surah in the Quran? Surah Ikhlas. Ooh, brave effort, brave effort. The nearest factor, huh? Subhanallah. I like that. I like that. This is really what fiqh is about. Those who have studied fiqh, this is where our minds go up and down. Surah Al-Asr, I like that. Right. The smallest surah in the Quran is Surah Al-Shams. Smallest surah in the Quran is Surah Al-Shams. Why? Can anyone tell me? If anyone tells me the reason, I will give an ilmi prize. Ilmi prize. That is a promise. Why is Surah Al-Shams the smallest surah in the Quran? And I'm going to give a Shafi'i answer to this. Not a Hanafi one, a Shafi'i answer. Very quickly. Why is Surah Al-Shams the smallest surah in the Quran? Come on. Let's see now. We're going to put our fiqh hat on. I don't want you to become muftis at this moment, but why is Surah Al-Shams the smallest surah in the Quran? I'm going to give 10 seconds to answer. Let's see if anyone can come out with an answer. If you need to come on the mic, please feel free to come on the mic. Why is Surah Al-Shams the smallest surah in the Quran? I'm hoping I've got you thinking. Why is Surah Al-Shams the smallest surah in the Quran? Anyone? Okay. Short is Wakan Surah. Oh, I like that. Like that. Maybe, maybe not. Right. There's, yeah, of course there's no fiqh. Oh, there's no fiqh rulings derived from it. No, of course not. Of course not. Uh, I'm not quite clear on what you're saying, Sister Khadija, but when I mean putting the fiqh hat on, or is it meaning in terms of thinking, not actually in terms of deriving fiqh rules from the actual surah. Right. So Surah Al-Shams is the smallest surah. Why? Okay, I'll say now. So one of my Shafi'i colleagues, okay, he's a Shafi'i, he's a Imam now, where I studied primarily in Leicester. So there's a beautiful answer. He says, والشمس بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها few more ha صدق الله العظيم. Isn't that now the smallest surah in the Quran? Yes or no? والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها a few more ha's. صدق الله العظيم. Smallest surah in the Quran. Yes or no? Yeah. So a point to smile, but again, keeping in context of the respect of the Quran. Um, so it's a Shafi'i answer. So all of you, please ensure you remember that not everything has a Hanafi conclusion. There can be a Shafi'i conclusion as well. So on this point, I had to humbly lower my guard and accept the Shafi'i school of thought on this matter, yeah? Because every ayah in Surah Al-Shams ends in a ha, right? If you got a doubt, look back at Surah Al-Shams. So next time, if anyone asks you what is the smallest surah in the Quran, it's Surah Al-Shams. And if they disagree, then give them the Shafi'i answer, inshallah. Okay. Right. We're going to finish this page off and then inshallah, page 68, and then we're going to call it a day, inshallah. Okay. Um, Right. So we spoke about waw being hadaf here. We spoke about ya being hadaf here, being indicated by ya and upside dhamma. In the very same way here as well, ya being hadaf again, indicated by standing kasras. Okay, so he. Okay. The following words are in the Quran, whereas both Rasm Uthman and Rasm Imla'i, they are the same. So again, these words all are in agreement with Rasm Uthmani and Rasm Imla'i. Okay. Ar-Rahim should not be here. So jot that down. Ustad Hafidhullah mentioned here that this word should not be here. This is a mistake because there is no rule as such here in relation to the context here. Okay. So in the new edition of Tasheel, when it comes out, you will inshallah find that correction, but this word should not be here. So please jot that down in your notes that this is a mistake, a typo, but all the other words here are in agreement. Okay. Inshallah, we will resume from page 69 as ziyada. So, inshallah ta'ala, 69, 79, 89. So we've got about just under 30 pages left. So I'm going to quickly look next week what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, inshallah ta'ala. Are there